Spend 5 minutes scrolling a newsfeed, and you are hit with an absolute deluge of conflict, political vitriol, and systemic failures. We look at this landscape and conclude that human beings are wired for chaos. It appears as though we are passengers on a massive freight train accelerating toward a cliff, waiting for a crash we secretly desire. Global wisdom traditions suggest the opposite. Across thousands of years and vastly different cultures, these records converge on a single truth. Humanity does not possess a collective death wish. Nobody truly wants to struggle. Our actual condition is systemic amnesia. We have lost our internal map and forgotten the fundamental architecture of who we are. This shifts the prognosis. If our suffering is a symptom of forgetting rather than a design flaw, the global crisis is treatable. Research from the Phoenix Project identifies a 5-stage pattern of societal decay that systematically lulls populations into unconsciousness. This sequence acts as an autopsy report. It begins with disconnection. An individual stops consulting their conscience. This leads to step 2, justification. Harmful actions are rebranded as necessary logic. Stage 3 is dehumanization, where people are reduced to statistics. This flows into step 4, normalization. Unthinkable policies become the boring, everyday reality. The process concludes with stage 5, fear maintenance. The system uses a constant news cycle to keep populations panicked, blinding them to the approaching danger. This societal decay mirrors our individual neurology. Dr. Joe Dispenza's research shows that by age 35, 95% of our identity is simply a set of memorized, unconscious behaviors running on autopilot. Without an active injection of awareness, our brains and our systems default to the path of least resistance. We participate in destruction simply because it is the familiar routine. We can reframe consciousness as a skill rather than a philosophical mystery. Just as we subject muscle fibers to stress to build physical strength, we can treat awareness as an active, trainable discipline. The law of assumption, popularized by Neville Goddard, suggests that consciousness is the fundamental cause substance of our world. In this view, the external environment is a delayed reflection of our internal state. Think of your mind as a radio receiver. Tuning to 98.5 FM plays jazz. You didn't create it. You matched a broadcasting signal. Missing the mark is tuning into suffering. Right consciousness is tuning your internal dial to the harmonious frequency of your highest potential. Escaping an apocalyptic timeline requires us to stop trying to manipulate the mirror of the external world. Instead, we master the internal skill of tuning our own consciousness. Ancient traditions used acoustic neuroscience to perform this tuning. Sounds like AUM, amen, and amin terminate in nasalized consonants that vibrate the roof of the mouth. These vibrations stimulate the pineal gland, the biological seat of higher awareness. Breath serves as the bridge. We are solar-powered light engines, transmuting sunlight and oxygen into cellular energy. This energy powers our neurons, which in turn generate the electromagnetic field of the mind. Evolution requires a balance of two forces. We have historically over-indexed on rigid structural masculine energy while suppressing the intuitive feminine flow. We built the riverbanks, but we lost the water. Rigid dogmas were the training wheels of early humanity, designed to keep us from annihilating ourselves. But spiritual maturity requires us to remove those wheels and rely on the divine consciousness already installed in our marrow. The awakening protocol is the biological and psychological merging of structure and flow. It is a deliberate effort to rewrite the mind. In antiquity, the watchman stood on the perimeter wall. This elevation served a functional purpose, to see what is coming before the people sleeping in the streets below have any idea they are in danger. Kabbalistic texts describe Gehenna as a temporary act of mercy. It highlights the gap between who we were and what our souls could have been. Confronting this gap is the fire. It burns away our distortions until we align with our perfect resonance. We can choose to step into this fire of self-awareness right now. By engaging in radical self-accountability, we burn away our own apathy while we are still breathing. This reframes the concept of solitary, comfortable healing. If you have done the work to gain a vantage point, you have a cosmic obligation to help others wake up. Personal and global hardships are not divine punishments. They are the friction needed to shatter our limited, sleepwalking identities. The mystic Ibn Arabi suggested the cosmos appeared solely because of love desiring to be known. In this view, the universe is a mirror for the divine. The ancient directive is simple: turn back from the path of unconscious destruction. Choose to live. The map out of global suffering is already encoded in our biology and spirit. We are only waiting for the moment we choose to remember who we really are.